Spoiler alert.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna go into the story. All right. So the Snapchat incident. So basically, we had a first date. All right. Like I say, date went great, awesome. Vibes were high, everything was flowing, and we went home. After that, guess what happened? What's going on? What's going on? So we went home. I was feeling good. I thought vibes were feeling good. And the next day, I looked on, I was going through Snapchat. And for some odd reason, I got this story post that came from Vibes. And the post literally said, I'm going to summarize the post for you, but the post literally said, I had this great date with this guy, and everything went well. The vibes were strong, but he eats meat. Just for backstory, Vibes is a vegan, but so he eats meat, and I guess in Vibes world, she was destined to be with a vegan man. So after our date, and she liked it. She had a bomb. She had a great time, but apparently the meat thing crept up, and I just saw that post, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" The post even said something like, "You know what? I like his vibes. I'm kind of gonna just go along, but if it gets too serious, or if he gets, if he tries to get with me, some of that, then I'm gonna go ahead and let him down lightly." I was not happy. I was like, "Are you guys to be kidding me? We had a great time. Did she see the date?" But in my mind, I was like, you know what? That's the Taurus in me. The Taurus said, you know what? Fine, you can play that game. Next time you see her, you're not even gonna pretend to like her. Vibes, what's your take?
I mean, in my mind, I had this whole checklist, and I wouldn't say it was unrealistic, but I mean, every woman knows what their type is, and when it comes to my type, he's everything. He's everything that I like in a man. A gentleman, all the way down to making me laugh and everything in between. And like he said, the vibes on the date were incredible, but I'm naturally an overthinker. So I get back home and I'm like, oh my gosh, this date was awesome. Everything went perfectly. He was the perfect gentleman. But I look at my list and I'm thinking about who he is, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he eats everything. Like, he eats dairy, he eats meat. Like, how is this gonna work? And I did like a pros and cons list, and that was literally the only con. So when I made the social media post, it was literally just from my overthinking. I was just overthinking the situation, and it was in my close friends. He had no business seeing it. I did not realize that I even had put him in my close friends, y'all. Players mess up too. Players messed up. I slipped up with that one. He was not supposed to even see that post. But yeah, I did explain in the post that the date was awesome. We had good vibes, but if things got a little too serious, I was gonna let him down easily. And I ended up praying on it and sleeping on it. And the next day, I actually expressed things to him because I eventually found out that he saw the post, and I felt really bad because he was like, "Were we on the same date?" Like, yes, it was the same feeling. The feeling was mutual. It was definitely genuine. And I put that one little ick aside because there's so many other couples out there who thrive with different eating habits, different diets. So I wasn't gonna miss out on an incredible man simply because of his choice of food. So yeah, that ended up being null and void, and here we are.
And so that is where the whole the mindset piece comes into play. Even in that conversation, we both want a new mindset. So the mindset took over. So instead of ghosting each other or just not saying nothing, our new mindset is kind of what saved everything and got us to the point where we are today.
Yeah, communication is key. So it's very good that we were both in the mindset that communication is way more important than just straight up ghosting, because that's my nature. I'm the old me would just ghost somebody, no explanation, no post, nothing. But it was just something special and different about him. We communicated instead. So that was a good thing.
All right. So our next part here, let's welcome a couple new people who've joined us. What is that? Lawson Fowler. What's going on, Lawson? CB4. I see the comment. Okay, CB4. All right. So continuing on. So we're gonna kind of go into the mindset piece and start off with my mindset and how that was really important, and hopefully y'all can take something from that too. Bye.
Yeah, you talked to me about your mindset in your past relationships. Um, it was actually a slow fade of your personality. So, what did faking the funk look like for you in the past?
All right. So in my last relationship prior to this one, I would say from a mindset, I kind of operated in a whole, faking the funk mentality basically. So sometimes you just go along with stuff just because things were comfortable. Didn't want to really raise too much feathers. I generally like peace, things of that nature. So kind of just went along with everything. Even if I wasn't feeling something, I would just kind of go along with it in the last relationship, and that literally did not help at all. So literally just kind of went on. I'm not going to go into full detail, but whenever if she wanted something, I was like, cool, sounds good to me. If she wanted to move to the next step, like, well, you know what? I mean, don't seem like it hurts anything, so I'm just going to go with the flow. So I kind of operated off that whole mentality. I literally just went with the flow. I mean, I had things that I wanted, I had things that I liked, but I didn't really do any of that stuff. I didn't really let any of that dictate, my choices or dictate my decisions. So I literally was like, especially at the beginning parts, faking the fun because things were good, things were comfortable. And I just was used to everything. So even when things was not great in my last relationship, realistically I just kind of you know what, I kind of went along with it. And I think a big part of that is I wasn't really in my normal mindset where a lot of these things actually mattered. So it was like I mean, I'm just gonna go with the flow as long as it doesn't get too bad. Things are gonna get better eventually. So that is basically what I operate on there. But unfortunately, as we went on, a few months, about a year and a half went along. We had there was a little cheating incident that happened. We recovered from that, and after that, I think I really started faking the funk and going with the flow after that, because I literally was like, well, that was actually the first time I saw she actually cared, was when I did something crazy like that. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, well, dang, I guess you really do care. So I really kind of just went along with stuff to make things better. And, actually we got engaged, proposed, got married, and guess what? It did not get better at all. I still, realistically, I wasn't operating off the same mindset. The happy-go-lucky, always happy guy, like that was not the mindset I was operating in. Hey, what's going on? But that was not the same mindset, and that just literally, instead of getting happier, we got worse. Things got more toxic. We argued a whole lot more, and really month to month, like I was expecting us to be happier, get better. It literally and truly did not actually happen. So we eventually ended up getting divorced, actually, and that period had me just at a low point, because I was kind of hoping things would get better, optimistically, hoping things would get better. Like if we just try hard enough, it will get better. It just did not, because I think realistically, at no point in that whole relationship did I really operate under my regular mindset. Hey, what's going on? What is your name? Fernando. What's going on, Fernando? Hello. So yeah, so we actually got divorced, and really it was in that process where I literally had like a whole awakening, and I blamed everything on myself. Because when I look back on everything, I played a big role in where we were, and at no point did I let my the mindset I normally have, that just was never evident. So one of the biggest thing I learned when that divorce became a breaking point, you know what? You got to go back to being you, man. You got to go back to having that mindset you normally have. And that's pretty much what got me back into the whole. You got to have a good mindset. You got to follow your mindset. You got to stick with your mindset to make things work.
Definitely. Make it a no negotiable type of deal.
Oh, yeah. All right, so real quick, just kind of listen to that story because I kind of went on in my whole that whole journey being divorced. I kind of just went on being a pleaser. I was just kind of doing stuff to as long as it kept a smile on the face, as long as things didn't get crazy. So kind of I was just doing it just to please. So anybody else had any situation where they were just pretending to be a pleaser just to make sure things work out? You can type that in the chat. And also, a second thing to think about also, have you ever looked back at an old version of yourself and barely recognize them? Especially when you look back at where something didn't work out or any of those things. You ever look back at an old version of yourself and be like, oh my gosh, who was that guy? Has anybody experienced that piece also?
I feel like a lot of people have, for sure.
Yeah, and I think when you lose the mindset, that's usually a big piece. When you just operating with the flow, when you're just faking the funk, it's like you kind of look back and it's like, I have no idea who that guy was, or I have no idea who that girl was.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was me, y'all. That was me.
We've been there.
All right, so vibes. You had a slightly different shift. You went from a mindset of tolerance, tolerating behaviors or tolerating treatment that you weren't used to, or tolerating treatment that you did not deserve. So how did you stop settling, just settling for those unfulfilled moments?
When I realized that literally in all of my serious past relationships, I realized that I was pouring so much into the other person and they weren't pouring back into me. And what I mean by that is pretty much when it comes to like words of affirmation, affection, gift giving, whatever their love language was, mine was gift giving and physical touch. It wasn't a balance, and I always felt like, oh, the more I give, the more I show, eventually they'll give it in return and they'll show it back in return. I know they care about me. I know they see what I'm doing. So I just kept pushing out all this effort, all this energy, and eventually I was draining myself. So eventually I just felt alone in a whole relationship, and that's one of the most unfulfilling and empty places that you can be in a relationship, like knowing you have someone, knowing you're doing your all to keep the love alive and keep the relationship alive and keep that spark going, and the person is not reciprocating it, but with their mouth they're telling you, oh, I care about you, oh, I'll do this for you, oh, I love you, but you're not seeing the action, because love is an action word. So you can't just tell someone you love them and not show them. And with me, I'm a lover girl. I like to be in relationships. I like to hold it down. And it was always that fear of being alone. I just did not want to have to like go through the single life. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going to continue to pour into that person. But eventually I had to come to a realization that I have to love myself first in order to recognize when I'm not being poured into. And so I went through this really good healing phase and this really openly spiritual enlightenment journey. And it helped me realize in my mind, I had to change my mindset. Don't pour into anyone who isn't equally or even more pouring back into you. That it has to be reciprocated. Because if not, you can lose yourself and, your mindset gets all thrown off. And so that was what my journey was like with that.
Again, man, that mindset, you gotta have a strong mindset, y'all. You gotta have a strong mindset. You gotta keep being who you are, and you gotta stand up for being who you are. So
yes, absolutely.
don't let folks run over you, y'all. On that same note, vibes. So being real, and that's gonna be for y'all in anyone in the chat also. How many of us have stayed in something because we were comfortable, even though we weren't happy? Has that happened to anybody who's watching this? How many of us had stayed in something basically because we were comfortable, because you were comfortable but not happy? Has that happened to anyone? All right, I have another one. What is one word that describes what you deserve in a relationship?
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, what is one word that describes what you deserve in a relationship? So if you have a word that describes what you deserve in a relationship, go ahead and type it in the chat. I know, I have a good one. Good one. Good one. All right, a real good one. Peace. Right? Peace. That's always a really good one. Peace. All right. And I think that's one folks sometimes settle on also. Whatever defines their peace, whatever defines how they operate peacefully, or how they get by day to day. That peace word, I think that is one. Yep, I think folks sometimes they're so comfortable they forget that one. So that's a good one. Anybody got another one? All right, so last one. So Vibe was talking about bold pursuit. Bold pursuit. So kind of basically pursuing something that you want. Kind of going away from what you've had before. Growth. That's a real good one. So bold pursuit. That rhymes right in there. Vibes. So in order to get some of that growth, is anyone currently in a season of waiting? Waiting for that growth, or anyone currently in a season of pursuing? So is anyone just kind of waiting, kind of wait around until that comes about, or actively pursuing it, so you could find what you're looking for? If that applies to anybody, go ahead and pop it in that chat.
Well, let us know.
Let us know. Let us know. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and do a mindset check-in. Mindset check-in. If anybody find value in this conversation, make sure y'all hit a like. Make sure y'all hit a like. Make sure y'all hit a comment even after this live. Once the video is out there. Oh, live over here popping up with some new features. You can pop up with Q&A. But if you pass across here and you found value in anything we've said so far, go ahead and make sure you put that in a comment. Make sure you put a heart in there. Go ahead and like the live, like the video. But right now we're pretty much halfway through. We're about on the back end, so we're gonna kind of talk about any mindset. So mindset that you need to move on, the mindset that you need to be in to, keep that peace, the mindset that you need to be in to grow from, whatever you've been doing to whatever you're supposed to be doing is probably a good way. So we're going to kind of just talk about how we both view mindset, and hopefully that could actually, help some of us out there who's going through some of these same struggles, or like Vibes and I kind of had, some of these same issues that, you don't want to keep happening over and over and over.
Right.
So you're going to go ahead and change that mindset so you can experience something brand new. So next segment, we're just going to talk about why mindset matters. Why mindset matters. Vibes, you want to kind of tell us your part? Vibes is big on spirituality.
Yes.
So that's, in terms of mindset, that's something that is big to her. So why does mindset matter in terms of, how you look at things?
Mindset and spirituality go hand in hand in my world. Everything starts with the thought. You take action. You take thought before you take action. You take thought before you write something down. You take thought before you make a decision. So your mindset and your spirituality, they support each other in life. Mindset goes along with the reason that you go into meditation. A lot of people, they use meditation as a way to cope, to help in maybe a grieving process when they're stressed. But I'm here to tell you that meditation is also extremely beneficial when you're on a high vibration already, and when you're already really grateful for your life, when you're already blessed and abundant, and you're just adding to that through your meditation. Um, with mindset and spirituality, it just, it balances out the way that you go about your everyday life with the decisions that you make. If you're thinking about things from a spiritual perspective, and how God is in everything. Everyone has their different religions, but God is in everything. That's the whole oneness with spirituality. So when you take a moment to balance out the thoughts of your mindset with spirituality, when it comes to putting God in everything that you do, it puts your mindset in a more positive place, in a more motivational place, in a peaceful place. And that's a way for you to grow towards things that you want to pursue in life, in any kind of relationship, whether it's romantic or friendship or business. Having your mindset be in a place of spirituality is very beneficial in a lot of those ways. So for me, I've been spiritual for a very long time, and I do a lot of journaling. I do a lot of, singing. I like to do affirmations in a mirror, and that's a very good way to keep yourself and keep your mindset in a way that you just more confident. Self-confidence is extremely important as well. So it's a lot of things that fall under the mindset of spirituality, and it's all beneficial. It's not always just when your world is coming down. It's very positive, and it's good to use when your life is going well as well.
All right, love that, love that. And I see we have a couple of new faces in the room also. Just to kind of briefly recap what we've been talking about, we just started off talking about how we almost did not, well, we met, but we almost did not continue. We almost broke up over a social media post on Snapchat that basically downplayed a great date. And we just talked about basically how us having a different mindset basically helped us get through that. Instead of ghosting, we kind of just kept on going, and we use that new mindset to basically persevere and kind of talk it out, communicate, etc. So just wanted to fill you in on that's what we've talked about so far. And for me, in sort of mindset, for me, I look at it, mindset is motivation. Even in past relationship, when I was just going with the flow, and when I wasn't doing the things I was supposed to be doing, I definitely was not motivated. So when I'm in my proper mindset, it is motivation. And, to me going forward, and even in this relationship, mindset is motivation. No matter what, you got to believe in something, be it small, big, large. There got to be a why behind the things that you're doing. So appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
There got to be a reason behind what you're doing. And, when you have the proper mindset, I like to call that, the why. Like why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the outcome? What do I expect from it? What am I going to gain from it? What are the things that I'm going to give? So when you actually have a proper mindset and you're properly motivated, then like you have answers to all those things. But to me, more importantly, I think it actually gives you like direction. It gives you direction, and it gives you something to look forward to or something to live up to. And I think that's the biggest part for me. Like, so once I would say I got back to my proper mindset, it became, these are the things I want to accomplish. I picked 3 specific words, peace, joy, and good vibes. And literally that just became my mindset every single day. Every single day I remind myself, you know what? Today is all about peace. Today is all about joy. Today is all about good vibes. When I was at work, today is all about peace. Today is all about joy. Today is all about good vibes. It didn't matter what I was doing. That was my mindset, and that became my motivation. And then when I made that my motivation, one thing I noticed, just everything just felt lighter. Like literally, I went through a period for about almost a year and a half where I almost didn't have any bad days. Like even when something did happen, because I had a why for all the things that I was doing, when something did happen, they were temporary. Like they never really caused any big hiccups. They never caused any big. They didn't hold me back. Any. I didn't sit around and mope for a very long time because again, my mindset was just different. My whole mindset was, you know what? Every day we're gonna be motivated. We're gonna do things that keep us motivated. You know what? We're gonna motivate the people around us. So I kind of took that with me. In terms of mindset, in terms of why that's important, it literally changed my whole outlook. So if you can kind of look at it from that perspective, also mindset is what is your motivation, right? What is your motivation? So if you can find your motivation, you know what that is, and guess what? Your mindset is going to align with that, and every single thing that you do, guess what? You're going to go ahead and align it back to that mindset. I would say for me, peace, joy, and good vibe, that just became my motivation. And my mindset literally just aligned with every one of those elements. And to this day, I still say it. I even got a shirt with the same, and you might see it a time or two. My shirt says, "Do not disturb my peace, my joy, or my vibes." And you know what? That is my mindset. Even in our relationship here, I'm always saying those words all the time. And that's how I gauge, how good things are or how bad things might be. Is basically how whatever happens, how is that affecting my mindset? Is it changing my mindset? Is it putting me in a better place? Is it aligned into those things that I know that I need to be happy? And, really, to me, again, mindset matters. And for me, mindset is motivation. Because if I'm motivated, man, I am my best person and I can give my best, do my best, be my best. And you know what? I can experience the best also. That is my mindset. That is the mindset.
I like that.
All right, y'all. So that's our take on mindset. Hopefully, somebody can kind of take something from that. Hopefully, that could help you out in something that you're doing, something that you're going through. But at the end of the day, like I say, you gotta be in the right mindset. And whatever that mindset is, make sure you stick with it. Make sure you're consistent with it. And make sure you prescribe 2 to 3 values that you're gonna attach to that mindset. And don't break that, don't change that for nothing, because those are the things that you actually need to be happy or be successful or be whatever it is that you're actually aspiring towards. You need those things, all right? So please keep those things.
Yes.
All right, so our takeaways, Blue, what is one of your takeaways? Vibes. I'm sorry to the Blue, I'm calling Vibes Blue. She does like blue, by the way. What is one of your takeaways, Vibes?
So don't be afraid to change the narrative. And if the relationship or situation doesn't fit the purpose that God has for you, then it's time for a mindset shift.
I like that. So one takeaway that I got is, your mindset is the filter for your life. The mindset is the filter for your life. So, however you want to live, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to accomplish, even if it's in a relationship, your mindset is the filter that you need to be using to filter those things through, filter those experiences through. So if the filter is clogged with things like faking it, then guess what? Your mindset is not going to be clear. Any other pieces? I think those are 2 biggest takeaways. What about y'all? Anybody got a big takeaway? Anyone got a takeaway?
And anybody that sees this after the live, we will interact with you all in the comments because this is a really good conversation and it's very important. So let us know what y'all want to discuss in the comments, and we will definitely be on the lookout for those, and we'll be responding with y'all and interacting and responding to whatever you comment.
All right, awesome. So thank you all for hanging with us for Mindful Mondays. Like she said, we'll see you in the comments. We'll see you on the different posts. I mean, if a question ever pops up, feel free to, post that question in the community. Go ahead, find a post, or find a video on the chat, or even this live itself, because we'll post this. Go ahead and post the questions on there. We will definitely keep this conversation flowing,
Yeah.
and we'll be talking about some of these topics and some other topics on future Mindful Mondays. All right, y'all. Mindset. This is our first Mindset Monday. So thank you all for joining us.
We appreciate you all for connecting with us and engaging with us, and I look forward to the next one.
Yay! Alrighty, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and close it out. But like I said, before we leave, again, remember that one main thing, man. Your mindset is your filter. Your mindset is your filter. When you clog filters, that is never a good thing. It's not good for your sink. It's not good in your car. It's not good for your motorcycle if you have one of those. Not good for your boat, your plane, if you got one of those. So on your body, you don't need a clogged mind. All right. So keep your mindset clear. Have a really good filter in there. Your filter is going to be your values. And like I say, make sure you keep that thing clean, y'all. All right, y'all. I am Dr. Blue.
I'm Goddess Vibes.
And together we are Blue and Vibes, and we are going to check on out. Thank y'all for joining.